thank you so much for all your interest, and thank you for the Vice President's attendance following the yesterday. Thank you so much. I'm Shiori Kanno. I'm a JPAC Japan coordinator. Some of you may know me as ex-co-chair of this IPAC. Yes, I was working as a co-chair from the very starting moment, 2019 till 2021. It's always been a privilege to be a teammate of this IPAC, along with a historical mission sought by the times. Well, let us start the press conference, but it starts with the wonderful performance. Welcome, Taipei Philharmonic Children Corps, directed by Ms. Sean-Soo Lee.
Good afternoon, and welcome to the IPAC Taipei Summit Press Conference. It is my great pleasure to host you for this conference on this very important occasion and this interview. My name is Deborah O'Neill. I'm an IPAC delegate from Australia. First of all, I would like to extend our gratitude to the President of Taiwan, Lai Ching-te, for his inspiring speech earlier today. His unwavering commitment to democratic values and human rights sets a powerful example for all of us. We were also privileged to experience that beautiful performance by the children's choir. I would like to outline the format for today's press conference. We will begin shortly by welcoming the Vice President of Taiwan, Xiao E. Kim, to the stage. Following this, we will hear from Ipac members Sujit Kumar, MP from India, Senator Cecilia Requena from Bolivia, Representative Gen Nakatani from Japan, and Mr. Peter Kenaloria Jr. from the Solomon Islands. There will then be a question and answer session moderated by myself with Representatives Nakatani, Reinhard Bütikofer from Germany, and Miriam Lexman, MP from the European Parliament. Now, it gives me great pleasure to announce the Vice President of the Republic of China, Taiwan, Xiao E.
Thank you, the Honorable Deborah O'Neill and honorable members of Ipac, distinguished guests, friends from the media, ladies and gentlemen, and colleagues from Taiwan. Good afternoon. Many thanks to the Ipac Secretariat for the invitation to me to make a few remarks here this afternoon. It is a pleasure and honor to be part of this event as we mark Ipac's 4th annual summit. I want to extend a warm welcome and my heartfelt gratitude to you for making the long journey to Taiwan. Special thanks also go to our friends from the media across continents for your interest in Taiwan and the work that we are doing here today. Your presence sends a powerful message of solidarity to the people of Taiwan and highlights our shared commitment to advancing human rights, democracy, peace, and prosperity for all. Through your visit here, we hope you will also bear witness to the resilience of Taiwan's society and the warmth of Taiwan's people. We ourselves have also come a long way in our own journey toward democracy. Having survived colonialism, martial law, and dictatorship, and transitioned peacefully into a modern and robust democracy. And though this journey has been fraught with hardship, adversity has made us stronger and more determined to uphold our treasured freedom. I understand that during this summit, Ipac members have had robust discussions on significant topics of interest. And over the past year, Ipac has also taken initiatives that are very meaningful to Taiwan, notably condemning Beijing's aggressive actions and urging global unity to maintain peace and stability in the Taiwan Strait. Ipac's Operation Mist highlights the fact that Taiwan's security is an indispensable part of global prosperity. And we welcome opportunities such as this gathering to collectively work toward de-risking and de-escalating, while also upholding our cherished values of freedom and democracy. Indeed, many of the security challenges that Taiwan faces are also felt globally, in addition to threats by authoritarian regimes to use force to undermine the existing rules-based international order we are also confronted with numerous hybrid threats, ranging from cyber attacks, disinformation, cognitive and legal warfare, economic coercion, and political interference aimed at sowing divisions in our societies and damaging the integrity of our democratic institutions. Yet, despite these seemingly overwhelming challenges, it is important to remind ourselves that the greatest asset of democracy is the ability to leverage our freedom to innovate, to turn challenges into opportunities through partnerships. Taiwan is committed to working with Ipac members, governments, and civil societies globally to boost our collective democratic resilience. We look forward to strengthening existing programs and exploring new opportunities across a wide range of areas, including trusted technologies, secure supply chains, media literacy, digital transitions, public health, environment sustainability, disaster management, and of course, defense and human security. To this end, I want to especially highlight our thanks to Ipac members and others for supporting Taiwan's meaningful international participation, rejecting Beijing's misuse of UNGA Resolution 2758 to unjustly exclude Taiwan and the Taiwanese people from the UN system. Taiwan has endeavored to be a force for good in the world, and your support enables Taiwan to actively contribute to the betterment of humanity. In fact, values-based diplomacy is one of the 4 pillars of President Lai's Action Plan for Peace. This is in addition to the pillars of bolstering our national defense, economic security, as well as principled cross-strait leadership. There are no simple solutions to hybrid challenges and threats, but through an interconnected lattice of enhanced self-defense capabilities, sound trade and economic standing, and committed global partners, we strive to uphold peace from a position of strength. And as President Lai's 4 pillars underscores, in the context of cross-strait relations and in the shared interests of the global community, it is important that Beijing replaces confrontation with dialogue and engages with the elected government of Taiwan with parity and respect for the democratic wishes of the Taiwanese people, to forge a pathway where our political differences can be worked out peacefully. I strongly believe that a peaceful and stable environment where human dignity is respected serves the interests and aspirations of people on both sides of the Taiwan Strait. Halfway around the world, athletes from all over are competing in the Paris Olympics. But the Olympic Games are not only about competition. They are about excellence, respect, and friendship. I believe the same spirit also resonates here at the Ipac Summit in Taipei, where we feel the bond of solidarity for freedom, inclusion, and friendship. Let me once again thank Ipac members for your dedication to working together in facing some of the most pressing challenges of the world today. Thank you for demonstrating that Taiwan is not alone. Thank you.
Well, can I thank you sincerely for your remarks here this afternoon, Vice President Shao. It was a rousing statement of solidarity, and I was delighted to hear you utter the word friendship, because certainly we have received great warmth and friendship in our time here in Taiwan, and friendship is a very powerful way for us to work together in the interests of peace. I want to thank you very much as a very busy woman leader for this nation to spend time with us, to take time out of your hectic schedule and be with us. We deeply appreciate your presence, and I know that I speak on behalf of the whole of the Ipac network when I pledge our continuing support for you and for the people of Taiwan. Vice President, thank you sincerely. And now we will proceed to the next part of the program.
I would like to invite Ipac co-chairs Mr. Sujit Kumar, MP from India, and Senator Cecilia Regina from Bolivia, and Representative Yen Naktani from Japan to come join me at home. And first to address us will be Mr. Sujit Kumar from India.
Thank you, Mr. Sohail. Good afternoon. On behalf of the whole Ipac network, let me start by saying how delighted we are to be in Taiwan. We have the opportunity to spend time with like-minded colleagues from all over the world, benefiting from the warmth of your rich culture and your robust and vibrant democracy, which Madam Vice President just spoke about. Even we benefited from your weather. I know I reflect the feeling of the whole network when I extend huge gratitude to MOFA, Ministry of Foreign Affairs of the Government of Taiwan, for their gracious welcome and warm hospitality. Unfortunately, due to PRC's aggression, we did not join here from 5 different continents just for the mere pleasure of your hospitality. We have, over the last 2 days, jointly addressed issues of great gravity for all of our countries, including the status of Taiwan and its economic importance to all of our economies. I myself joined this summit from India, where we have to confront PRC aggression on our borders, Himalayan borders, and where cross-state stability is of immediate relevance to our prosperity. Though our delegation was drawn from many different political parties, spanning the breadth of the world's political ideologues, there is a great deal of consensus that the posture of democratic government towards PRC is in need of a healthy dose of realism. We stand united in opposition to the PRC's repression at home and troubling aggression abroad. And as Madam Vice President said, Taiwan is not alone. Thank you.
We now invite Senator Cecilia Regina to address.
Thank you, Senator. Good afternoon, everybody. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been a big year for Ipac. We see continued growth and interest in the network in Latin America, where legislators are slowly waking up to the challenges posed by the People's Republic of China. Yesterday, the Ipac delegation, the largest international delegation of politicians ever to visit Taiwan, was received by Vice President Xiao Bikimin and Deputy Minister Tian, visited Lingkou Technological Park, and engaged with cross-party members of the legislative yuan. Today, we held a private plenary for Ipac members where lawmakers from 24 countries discussed issues of mutual concern. We were then briefed about risks to our personal cybersecurity, to diaspora groups, and critics in our countries, and to the integrity of our electoral process. The Latin America delegation then raised difficult questions on Venezuela and China's rapid recognition of contested electoral results that have already generated death in the streets of Venezuela. Our solidarity to them. In my country, Bolivia, we faced particular challenges. Russia and China are taking undue advantages of our natural resources enabled by local corruption. Lawmakers in my country rarely speak about these problems. Some of them fear that speaking out will put them at a political disadvantage. For me, having an opportunity to share concerns with such a diverse group of lawmakers is a great encouragement and a learning opportunity I'm thankful for. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator. And we are going to need our headsets now, so if you want to make sure that you have a headset ready to attend to the contribution now of Representative Gen Nakatani from Japan. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'm Gen Nakatani from Japan. 今回のレシーバーチャンネル、please。今回の台湾での Ipac のサミットに関しまして、皆様方と共に決意を表明させていただきます。Ipac は集まり、情報を共有し、学び合う集団にとどまりません。Ipac は行動する集団です。多くの政府がいまだ北京の挑戦に立ち向かうということに消極的であったとしても、私たちの議員は黙って見過ごすということはありません。私たちの経済的利益と民主主義がもたらす自由を確保すべく、協力をして行動しなければなりません。そのためには、基本的な国際秩序を維持をしなければなりません。すなわち、北京に海洋法の尊重を訴え、境界、そして海洋の両岸の安定を維持しなければなりません。そして、台湾の地位に関する国際法の歪曲、これを止めなければなりません。Ipac が今日、決議案モデルを採択をしたというのもそのためであります。レッスン、中国政府による国連決議2758の歪曲を断固として拒否をするよう、私たちは各国政府に働きかけをいたします。帰国後、この Ipac の決議案モデルをもとに、各国において決議を成立させるために働きます。ルールに基づく国際秩序の保持は、私たちの共通の責任です。台湾が苦労して勝ち取った民主主義は、台湾の 経済的重要性にかかわらず、国際的な支援に値をしますが、台湾とその周辺海域が世界の貿易供給システムの中心的な結節点であるということは事実であります。台湾の安定と繁栄は、私たちの日常生活、豊かな生活と地続きなのであります。また、Ipac は私たちの経済圏において、台湾が果たす重要でかけがえのない役割への認識を引き続き高めております。間違いなく、両岸の緊張の激化は、民主主義政府の大きな政治的失敗を意味するだけではなくて、世界中の何百万人という家庭に苦難をもたらすことになるでしょう。私たち Ipac は、この失敗を防ぐために、全力を尽くす決意であります。各国政府が北京の脅威を真剣に受け止めず、国民に大きな代償を払わせるような事態を決して許しません。自由と人権、法の支配は、政治体制を問わず、洋の東西を問わず、普遍的な価値であります。Ipac はその普遍性を体現し、この普遍性こそが私たちの強みなのであります。ここで台湾で私たちはこの普遍的価値を毀損するいかなる中国の試みを阻止することを誓います。そして違いを超えた私たちの連帯が、それがあれば必ず実現することであります。皆さんと共に頑張りましょう。ご清聴ありがとうございました。
Well, can you once again give a round of applause to my colleagues? Thank you very, very much for your contributions and for outlining the important work that's taken place over the last 2 days here in Taiwan. So with those comments, there's lots of work for us all to do when we go home. I would now like to invite Peter Kenaloria MP from the Solomon Islands to the podium. Please make
Thank you very much, Senator O'Neill. It is my pleasure to stand before you all today at the Ipac Taipei Summit 2024, representing my proud nation of Solomon Islands. We are gathered here in Taipei, a city that stands as a beacon of freedom and democracy in the region. Taiwan's resilience and commitment to democratic norms and values should be an inspiration to us all. Historically, the relationship that once was held between the Solomons and Taiwan was strong and deeply rooted in partnership and mutual collaboration. Nowadays, I'm afraid that I cannot say the same. I acknowledge the complexities and challenges that both our nations now face as a result of these actions, and state that it is my personal desire to see this relationship return to the strength that once was held. But in order to return to the strength that it once was, we must all come together to work with and support those who share the same dedication to the collective values that brings us all here together today. So this gives me great pleasure to formally announce the enlargement of the Interparliamentary Alliance on China, IPAC. As of today, 6 new countries have officially joined the alliance. The countries are as follows: Colombia, Uruguay, Malawi, the Gambia, Iraq, and of course, my own nation, Solomon Islands. This enlargement signifies a powerful and united stand, and is a testament to our shared dedication to the promotion of democracy, transparency, and human rights. Now, in joining others, I would like to extend once again my gratitude to our Taiwanese hosts and to all members of IPAC for your unwavering commitment. Let's move forward together with unity and determination. Thank you.
I would now like to invite the Executive Director of IPAC, Luke Bulford, to come to the microphone and make some remarks.
No need for that. I'll be very brief because I know that you all want to ask some questions. You just heard that 6 new legislatures were entering the alliance. There is a 7th, and that 7th legislature is the legislative yuan. It gives me great pleasure to announce that we now are able to say that Taiwan is a member of IPAC. The founding co-chairs of Taiwan will be Fan Yun from the Democratic Progressive Party and Chen Chaozi from the Taiwan People's Party. Please come forward for a photograph.
And I would like to invite to join me in answering questions the representative again, Jen Nakatani. Please, if you would come forward from Japan. Also, Reinhard Bütikofer. I invite Miriam Lexman, MEP from the European Parliament, also join me here at the podium. We will now take your questions. It is a wonderful thing to see so much media interest from all around the world. And I ask that you ask your questions clearly and succinctly. And there will be assistants who will be moving around with the microphone to make sure that we get to as many questions as possible. I don't think we'll get to all of them because time is somewhat limited, but we will endeavour to get to everyone. Okay, so I see some hands up, and we'll go first to the gentleman over here in the second row, and then to the lady here in the first row. No, just the gentleman in the second row. If you could state your name and where you're from before you ask your question.
Yes. My name is Mark. I'm from United Daily. I have a question. Right now, Taiwan is facing PRC distortion of UN 2758 resolution that will not only be harmful to Taiwan's meaningful participation in the international organization, but also, as President Lai has mentioned earlier today, that could be used as a legal ground for Chinese military advancement. So my question is, what strategies do you think Taiwan can take to counter Chinese distortion other than just clarification? And is it possible for Taiwan to seek friendly nation or diplomatic partners' assistance voicing its concerns at the UN General Assembly? Thank you.
For this question, we might go to you, Yutkov.
Thank you for your question. Certainly, it is not probable that Taiwan will be able to pursue its own democratic future if we let it alone. So the question is not just for Taiwan, what can Taiwan do, what can the citizens of Taiwan do to determine their own future. It's also for the rest of the world. And what we learned again today is that a Taiwan contingency would not just be a Taiwan contingency, it would be a global contingency, and it concerns everybody. That's why we try to carry that information that is relevant in this context also to our own legislatures, to our own governments, and in particular to our own public, and make them engaged. And I think we are indeed making progress. Seeing the enlargement of Ipac is one example. Another example that I would like to cite is the fact that President von der Leyen, the President of the European Commission, before she was re-elected in the European Parliament, just shortly, she gave a speech in which she clearly advocated deterrence against unilateral change in the Taiwan Strait. She became the first European leader to say that in such clear words. And I think that is an example of how we will move forward together.
Thank you. Next question.
日本から来ましたジャーナリストの。
We'll just hold on for a moment so everyone can get their headphones on. If you could state your name, the country from which you come as well,
Can I
and
say
your.
in Japanese? Ipac としてこの活動が広がっていくことを私も非常に共感します。一方で中国の政府との対話というのを今後 Ipac として考えていますか
？Ipac の目的というのは自由、民主主義、法の支配、そして平和主義、こういったことをいずれの国もしっかり守ることでございます。特に中国に関しては力による現状の変更、これは認めないということでありまして、我々ことあるごとにですね、このことを中国に対してメッセージとして送り続けております。したがって中国もこういった人権、そして力による現状の変更をすることがないように、そのようにしていくようにですね、我々としても引き続き訴えて努力していきたいというふうに思っております。
Thank you very much. Next question. Yes, the gentleman in the fourth row.
您好，台湾大剧院记者提问，我想问一下，是美国众议院6月25日通过那个法轮功保护法，那惩罚中共参与火灾器官者，那 Ipac 也是多次谴责中共就是迫害法轮功的那个团体这样子。那台湾与日本的议员7月中时曾经宣布共同就是要在台湾，就是在2个国家共同推动立法进行制止。那请问说 Ipac 是否会考虑更多就是行动去制止这种火灾器官的问题？那例如说鼓励各国立法形成那种世界的防火墙。以上，谢谢。
Thank you, and I'll direct the question to Mr. Buetkofer.
As you have just mentioned, Ipac is not only considering to take action, but has already taken action through a statement that we published just recently. And I think we will follow up on that in that context and make sure that this stance that we have taken is widely perceived and recognized and also supported.
Thank you. Next question. Yes, the lady over here, second row.
Hello. Hi, this is Helen Davison from The Guardian. My question is...
Australia.
Right. British and Australian, yes. My question is about the reports of intimidation or attempts at intimidation against the members of IPAC from coming here to Taipei in particular. I was wondering if you can talk about how that is compared to previous years, whether the fact that this is being held in Taipei was the primary factor, and also how you intend to, I guess, combat that over time. You know, did it actually stop anybody from coming to the summit? Thank you.
Direct this question to Miriam Lexman.
Thank you very much for this question. I was one of the members who were coerced by the Chinese representative in Slovakia, who was trying to contact the president of my party. The meeting he required and requested never happened, but we do know what was probably the most probably the message he wanted to convene as the conversation with other members happen in other countries. I think this is absolutely unacceptable that the Chinese PRC or Chinese Communist Party representatives are contacting members who want to freely travel to Taiwan and do their job. It's our job to secure human rights, security, and prosperity for our citizens in our countries, and we do believe that cooperation with Taiwan is bringing all of these. And we do not want to be coerced, and we do not want to be under any pressure. I was born in that time Czechoslovakia, and I do remember as a child this kind of behavior when my relatives were called to the Communist Party headquarters for intimidation, for questioning, because someone wanted to travel abroad or someone stayed abroad and didn't come back, or because someone expressed his or her concerns about the communist regime or was trying to support human rights in that time communist Czechoslovakia. And I do know this kind of behavior from my childhood. And I know that the only way how to stop this is our love to freedom. It's the love of freedom of those who are under any kind of regime. And it's the adherence to principles of those who are having political power across the world. Thank you.
Freedom of movement is a fundamental right.
いいですか、もう一つ。そのような中国の言動や行為をですね、国際社会は果たしてどう見るかということです。北京にはですね、外国の議員による台湾への関与を決定する権限は持ちません。議員の訪台を阻止しようとする試みにつきましては正当ではないんですね。法律上、外国の議員が台湾を訪問することを妨げるものは何もありません。我々は民主的に選ばれた議員でありまして、自由に訪問先を選んで、自らが選んだ民主主義の理念を支える権利があります。これは選出された公職者としての権利と責任の正常な行為でありますので、このような通常の行動をですね、挑発として描こうとする試みは断固として拒否されるべきでもありますし、これを許せば民主的な議員の権利を直接損なうことになるのではないでしょうか。
And
just adding one sentence.
Butkoffer, yeah.
Not a single IPAC member did not attend because of Chinese efforts to interfere. They were utterly without success.
If I can just say, freedom of movement is a fundamental right in a functioning democracy, and that language use that echoes the words of democracy doesn't accord with the limitation of physical freedom of movement. This is a democratic gathering in solidarity, and everyone is here to stand alongside the Taiwanese people. Next question. Yes, the gentleman up the back there, and then we'll go to the second question with the gentleman there.
Hi, Chris Lee from Domino Theory, independent media. I have a question to all other speakers up here on the stage. In your view, is IPAC a threat to the Chinese government? Thank you very much.
We might go to Mr. Butkoffer in the first instance.
IPAC has been labeled an anti-Chinese organization, I think it was by the Global Times. I consider that a confusion. We're not anti-Chinese. We are certainly opposing the Xi Jinping regime and its policies. The fact that they try to interfere with our own work seems to indicate that they take our work seriously. We are grateful for that because it shows we have an effect, but we will keep pushing back. I'm not saying we have any intention to even think about toppling China, but when China pursues intentions to topple our democratic order, we fight back.
And I think we're seeking comment also from you, Ms. Lexman.
I just want to add that seeking the protection of human rights, prosperity and security for people across the world can never be a threat. And if it's a threat for PRC, that is not our problem, but it's a problem somewhere else.
Next question.
你好，我是台湾的官传媒记者张英杰。我有个提问是这样子的：美国参议院军事委员会共和党籍议员苏利文跟民主党籍达克沃斯，就是日前也共同提出一个与台湾统一阵线法案。法案内容若主張說，如果中國對台灣發動軍事侵略，將對中國全面制裁。請問您對此有何評論呢？謝謝。
台湾とは台湾支援法という法律をもってすでに成立させていると聞いております。どのような状況になるかはわからないわけでございますけれども、いずれにしても力による武力侵攻また紛争はですね、これはやらないという原則の上にですね、国際社会が認めているわけでございますので、このようなことが起こさないように抑止をしてなくしていくということは当然でございますが、アメリカがどのように行動するか、これはアメリカが決めることではないかなというふうに思います。
And Mr. Butkoffer?
I would like to invite everybody not only to focus on the eventuality of a hypothetical amphibious aggression or whatever else the PRC leaders might have in mind, but also to focus on our own efforts to prevent that from happening. The former Prime Minister of Australia, Kevin Rudd, wrote a book with the title, The Avoidable War. And we have heard again today from experts how catastrophic, just in economic terms, such an eventuality would turn out to be. So we should make every effort to avoid that catastrophe. And I believe that by focusing too much on the hypothetical issues of when will the PLA finally get going could keep us from doing the necessary work now to push back against the aggression that's already happening, for instance, online through foreign interference, and to push back against their speculations about furthering the aggression. I believe we can create a situation where every morning Xi Jinping, when he wakes up, comes to the conclusion, well, maybe better not today.
Thank you. And I think we might go to our last question. Burke, down the front. Oh.
Hi, from
Sorry,
the...
I was indicating, do we have time for 2 questions, Luke, or just 1? 2 more questions, so we'll go to the gentleman first and then we'll finish with you, Ms. Burke. Yes, he has the call.
Thank you, from the AP. Thanks so much for coming out to speak with us. I just wanted to ask if there was any response. U.S. presidential candidate Donald Trump said in an interview a couple weeks ago that Taiwan should be paying more for its own defense and dodged questions about whether he would defend the island if there was any military aggression by Beijing. Do you have any response to that? Is IPAC, preparing for what the outcome of the U.S. presidential election might be?
I'll go to Representative Butkoffer.
Donald Trump or Kamala Harris have not been a topic in our conversations. As it happens, IPAC is an alliance that does not mingle into the internal affairs of its member countries or member parliaments. But as regards the facts, as far as I know, Taiwan has already paid 19 billion for arms bought in the United States that have not been delivered. So maybe Mr. Trump should look up his facts.
Thank you. Ms. Burke, to finish.
Thank you for the final question. Latika Burke from the Nightly Australia. You've talked a lot about the Chinese government, but the purpose of IPAC is to actually pressure your own governments to take tougher stances on China. I wondered if you could reflect each, please, on the progress or any setbacks you feel you may have had in the 4 years of IPAC's duration on influencing your own governments on the policies you would like to see.
Butkoffer?
In the European Parliament, and my colleague Miriam Lexman can attest to that because we've collaborated very strongly on that, there has been a great cohesion between the 5 major democratic groups, including the People's Party, the Social Democrats, the Conservatives, the Liberals, and the Greens. And over the last 5 years, that has grown so strong that we can predict that it will remain, that the European Parliament will remain a pillar of solidarity also with Taiwan. We never had a Taiwan-focused debate in the European Parliament before 2019. Just ask anybody from MOFA how often they have been congratulating us for taking a clear stand. And in the German context, I can add, and Germany plays a pivotal role in Europe because it's been the outlier for some time, overly eager to focus only on trade and not paying enough attention to political issues, to put it mildly. We have had a new government with an explicit policy of stating for the first time in these words that we oppose, as Germany, any unilateral action in the Taiwan Strait. And we advocate the meaningful participation of Taiwan in international organizations like ICAO or UNFCCC or what have you, WHO. So I think that can be deemed progress.
Ms. Lexman, you want to add something?
Yeah, I would maybe add that maybe the role we do and we focus on the last 4 years was mainly to kind of put a true picture and share information with the governments, because then it was very clear that the government started to be interested in solutions, and the solutions could be shared. How to deter, how to act in order to prevent any conflict which would have a dramatic impact on the lives of all people across the world. And that was probably the main focus. Also, the EU has brought up certain legislation which is now implemented in many countries. This is also a kind of result of activities of IPAC members in different legislators and in the European Parliament.
Final contribution.
国際社会の平和と発展のためにはですね、やはり国際国家としてのやっぱり民主主義、人権、そして法の支配、法による支配というのが大事だと思います。ところが中国は 国家安全法というですね、非常に自由な言論を封殺をしたり、また出版や表現の自由を抑制したり、またそれによって不当に逮捕したり、また拘束したり、行方不明になったり、そういう方がたくさんおられると聞いております。そして最も大事なのは法による支配なんですね。きちんと公開された裁判手続きによって、しっかりと法律で、裁かれ、そして、法律によって運営をされているのか、こういう点においては非常に不透明でですね、非常にそういった方々の不安やまた弾圧がですね、続いていると聞いております。従いまして、このアジアにおけるこの近代国家といたしまして、もう少し解放され、そして透明のある政治体制になるようにですね、我々としてはしっかりと求めていきたいというふうに思っています。
Back to you, Miriam.
I'll just add one more sentence that extraterritorial implications of the national security law is also of concerns of many democratic governments, because obviously the one issue of the democratic government is to protect human rights in the territory of the country.
I think it's fair to say, without indicating any countries in our closed door session this morning, that one thing that happens when parliamentarians gather is we discuss what's happening in our parliaments, we discuss strategies. We are operating multilaterally just by being here. We've certainly endorsed multilateral action, and right across the participants, who are now joined by a further 6 countries, there is discussion about parliamentary action in all its possible forms to ensure that democracy is safe and sound and is advanced. Can I thank all of you for being here? It's no small feat to bring about such a gathering of people from right across the globe, 5 continents represented here, by people who are deeply engaged in the democratic project of their own country. I want to take the opportunity to congratulate Luke de Pulford and his team from IPAC in bringing this event to fruition. Thank you very, very much. And can I say to all of you gathered here in places where freedom of the press is at risk or being dismantled, you too should understand the fundamental importance of your role in democracy, and we sincerely thank you for joining us here at the IPAC Summit 2024, Taipei, Taiwan. That concludes our conference. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. For those who have interviews, please remain in this room. You know who you are. You've got slips with you. The legislators, and I think those who have interviews with them also know. Is there anything else, Laura? And if everybody else who doesn't have an interview lined up could leave, that would be great. Thank you very much.
你不要吓人家吧。